Hello, welcome to Healing with podcast. I am Marissa McDevitt, your host, mindset coach, mentor, and founder of Healing Center. Tired of all the BS? So was I. This podcast is my raw, unfiltered take on life, sharing my personal experiences, lessons, and healing practices that helped me break free from the cycles that no longer serve me. I'm just an average woman who decided to stop settling and start speaking up. Here we dive deep into the messy, beautiful, and sometimes painful realities of life, business, and relationships. No fluff, no judgment, just real talk, real growth, and real transformation. This is a safe space for anyone, women, men, and all the beauties in between. So who's ready to raise their standards, heal, and step into their power? Let's learn, grow, and evolve together. Now tune in and let's talk about it. Hurt people hurt people. That's a phrase we've all heard before. But what most people don't talk about is how easy it is to become the person causing the hurt when you're carrying pain you haven't healed. Today's episode is inspired by something currently happening in my life, and it reminded me how powerful unhealed pain can be. First, I want to give a shout out to my listeners all over the world. We're popping up. This is like a dream come true. So I want to shout out Germany, Spain, United Kingdom, France, Hong Kong, Romania, and South Africa. So definitely let me know in the comments if does it translate to your language, or do you all speak English? I would love to know. So here we go. Hurt people hurt people. When someone is deeply hurting, they often push away the very people trying to help them. How often has this happened to you? Because this has happened to me many of times, especially with the friends I've tried to help, with the family members I've tried to help. And usually people with addictions in particularly will destroy everything in their lives. I mean, light it on fire, burn it down, destroy in their lives. Push everybody that's close to them away from them. Won't take any advice because it's everybody else's fault, until they're literally left with nothing because they've burned all their bridges. They've entered all the block parties. And all they have to do is to look at themselves and say, oh shit, it is me. And that's normally when people go into rehab, on their time, when they're ready. Not when you want it. Trust me, been there, done that, doesn't work. So addiction isolates people. The reason why I started this episode is because there's a situation that's happening to me closely. And for all of you out there, if you don't know, this podcast is my journal, is my outlet for all the crazy stuff that happens in real life in my life. Does that mean I know all the answers to everything? No. Does that mean I'm a doctor for this, a doctor for that? No, everybody knows that. But this is my podcast. Welcome to America. Free speech, baby. My whole intention for my podcast is an inspirational, motivating, inspiring, educational platform for real life situations that many other people go through as well, and they are too scared to talk about it. That's why my voice is so powerful. My voice is so strong, and I show up and I speak about what's going on in my life, not to put anybody down, but to explain the situation so others don't have to take the steps that we did already. So you're welcome. And with hurting people, a lot of the times it's people who are addicts or people who have mental illness or disorders, right? Like bipolar disorders. That's a big one that happened in my life multiple times. Multiple people with bipolar disorder. Actually all of them that have been in my life are completely evil. They act like your best friend for a little bit, and then they switch on you. It's like multiple personality disorders. That one too. That one's a little scary too, huh? When bipolar people flip on you, it's because they're hurting inside themselves, which in return, they hurt the people closest to them. They destroy it. They light it on fire, just like the addicts. Addicts, they don't want to take responsibility for what they're doing. They want the drugs. They want the alcohol. They want whatever they're addicted to. And your opinions and your friendship and your love doesn't matter to them because they're addicted to other substances. And until they hit rock bottom or they die, they're never going to change until they want to. That's the reality of it. We can plant the seeds, but we can't make them grow, right? We can show them the door. Here's therapy. Here's rehab. Here's detox centers. Here's, a therapist to get your mental health in order. But they have to walk through the door by themselves. People waste so much time on people who don't want the help right now. How do I know? Because I've done it. I've been the person who was an addict. I've been the person who helped the person try to get off the drugs. I've been the person who was a friend of the bipolar person that snapped on her and tried to destroy her life. Been there, done that. Addiction isolates people. Addicts destroy relationships. They push people away. They burn bridges and they isolate themselves. Why? Because eventually they must face themselves. And in that moment, that rock bottom is when many people finally seek help. And I will be having guest speakers on here to explain their path with addiction or alcoholism or whatever it is. And they're going to tell you the same thing. When they were ready to go, they went. But not because everybody was telling them to, because they wanted to, finally, after I don't know how many attempts. So how do I know hurt people hurt people? Well, let me just tell you a little about my life. I caught a felony at 17 years old, reacting from betrayal. The full details will be in another episode on that one, because that was a hard lesson for me to learn. I had toxic teenager relationships with a boyfriend that also went to jail. I would always retaliate with anger. I was very angry for the longest time. I was heartbroken by my first love, and I'm not even kidding. It had been 1 to 2 years. I banned him from all the bars I would be in or any group setting. He wasn't allowed in because I was so heartbroken and I never got closure from him that it just spewed into a controlling, don't be around me, because I was so hurt. I would hold on to years, and I mean years, of resentment, and that is an example. Hurt will show up in toxic relationships, in your friends who are jealous, in controlling exes or controlling partners, angry coworkers even. And this is a good one. Social media drama. Most of the time when someone is attacking others, they're actually at war with themselves. Let me repeat that. Most of the time when someone is attacking others, they're actually at war with themselves. And growing up in a household where I watched my parents hurt each other, one was hurt, so the other one would hurt the other and bounce it back and forth like a ping pong ball. For years, I thought other people were the problem. Then I realized I was carrying pain everywhere I went. Well, what was I carrying pain from? My whole damn childhood. All the ups and downs and ins and outs of friendships and relationships and everything. I didn't have an outlet, so I would act in resentment and retaliate in anger. Took me a long time to get to where I'm at now. And hurt shows up everywhere. In toxic relationships, and your friends who are jealous, in controlling exes or current partners. Hurt even shows up in your angry coworkers. Or, this is a good one, in the social media drama. Let's bring it back to even the angry coworkers. There was this girl that I would bartend with, and she just hated me from the start, and I never even did anything to her. And I just normally the old Marissa would have just snapped and told her, you better get off your high horse, bitch, because I didn't do anything to you. And we have to work together. My money's your money, so you better get your shit together. But instead, the new Marissa, I just would shower her with love and I would ignore her comments. And I kept showering her with love and ignoring her comments and showering her with love and ignoring her comments. And I mean for 2 months. And that's a long time for me. Okay, I have no I am learning to have patience. But I have about that much. Eventually, 2 months goes by and she goes on leave because she was pregnant. In her last day, she came up to me and she gave me a full-on hug. I almost started crying. And it was a legit hug. And she said, I'll miss you. I'll see you when I return. And I'm like, what, in the front door? Where's all this anger coming from? I'm like, well, clearly she's going through stuff at home because obviously, one, she's pregnant. Two, why would you be so mean to someone when you just met them and they haven't done anything to you and they actually make you more money than you do, probably? It's a win-win situation. Why are you being mean? So when she returned, I actually confronted her. And I said, you were literally evil to me. Mean. I did not want to be around you. I did not want to work with you. I said, but the minute you gave me a hug, I realized that you can be a really good person and you are actually really awesome to hang out with and work with. I'm like, where was it coming from? And she straight up said, I thought you were going to take my hours away from me and I thought you were taking money away from me because you were a new hire. So she took out her projections of thinking she was going to get less shifts because of a new hire onto me because she thought she wasn't going to make money. Hurt people. Okay, people? Here's another thing. 99% of the time, the person who needs to change is you. Not them. You. Your reactions, your triggers, and your patterns. If you learn to change that, it won't matter how they're treating you. Just like with my coworker who was so mean to me, evil mean to me. Back in the day, I would have fought this girl, okay? And she's tall. She's taller than me. Right? But because I've done the inner work, and I seen through her, I said, well, she's obviously not having a good time somewhere in her life, whether it's at home, whether it's within herself, whether it's what. And to her, she was threatened that I was taking her position or her shifts. And that's where the anger was coming from on her side. But how I stayed grounded and how I stayed center was I didn't let her trigger me. I didn't let her push me to where I would have had an old pattern arise. Okay? My reactions, I had no reactions. I would go in the back and cuss and throw shit to myself because it was difficult. But I realized that I said to myself, you know what? If I just keep being nice to her and showing up and doing my work, eventually she's going to realize oh, okay, I'm being a bitch for no reason. And actually, Marissa's a really cool girl. And actually, Marissa works her ass off and makes us money. And it actually did. It happened that way. So things that helped me get to where I'm at now with people hurting me, working out, moving my body, getting that stagnant energy out of my system. Move your body, people. Even when I was heartbroken by my first love of my life and I wouldn't let him near me for 2 years because I had no closure. That was like really when my workout journey started. I was working out 4 times a week. I was doing yoga. I started breath work and meditation. Okay? Every big catastrophic event with friends hurting me or family or something, I indulge myself in workshops, in holistic healing, in therapy. Because I always come at the situation like, what could I do to make sure that situation doesn't happen again? How can I make myself better? How can I be more aware? How I should have seen these red flags. I should have done this. I should have done that. But guess what? That's why it happened to me. So I can learn what it's like to feel heartbroken, betrayed, what it feels like to fight back with resentment. And I don't like that feeling. I went to jail over that feeling. Okay? I caught a felony over that feeling. And I learned that that is not the way to do it. Trust me, I did it for years and years, fighting and fighting and fighting, and it's not the way. The way is when things happen and people hurt you because they're hurt. You say, okay, you hurt me to a place of no return. You're on the block party list. And now I'm going to do work inside myself to bring my vibration and my awareness higher so that never happens again. And I wish you luck. That's all you can do. So what I realized was I wasn't an angry person. I was a hurt person who never processed my pain. So let me give you 5 signs you're still carrying hurt. 1, you react quickly with anger or defensiveness. 2, you blame others for most problems in your life. 3, you struggle to apologize or take accountability. 4, you attract toxic relationships repeatedly. 5, you feel triggered by other people's happiness or success. Unhealed pain leaks into every area of life. 5, you feel triggered by other people's happiness and success. Gosh, so many who I thought were friends, I found out are completely not, because the minute I start doing good in life, they're ghosts. Bye. Ghosts. What friends? It's all right. We make room for more aligned, powerful people. Okay, so I showed you the 5 signs you're still carrying hurt. Now I'm going to show you the 5 ways to begin healing. 1, take radical responsibility for your life. Let's repeat 1. 1, take radical responsibility for your life. I should clap. 1, take radical responsibility for your life. 2, develop body awareness through breath work, movement, and meditation. 3, seek support. 3, seek support through therapy, coaching, or even healing communities. 4, stop numbing your pain with substances or distractions. Stop watching TV. Tells lies to your vision anyways. Stop drinking your little heartbreaks away. Doesn't help. 5, start asking yourself, what is the situation teaching me? Healing begins the moment you stop blaming and start reflecting. So if someone is using drugs or alcohol heavy, you can express your concern once, offer resources, offer support, but after that, you step back. You cannot save someone who refuses to save themselves. But if they ask for help, be there if you can. Because that usually means that they're finally ready. That they're finally ready to receive the help. And setting boundaries are self-respect. Y'all get that together, please. Boundaries are self-respect. Examples from my life, dude. Jealousy, friendships, manipulated people, threatening exes. Like, okay, first off, when I say friends who were jealous, I mean like these chicks were absolutely bat shit cuckoo to the new, okay? They were totally my best friend, and then all of a sudden, they tried to take all my other friends, my partner at the time, my house that I was living in, like literally something off the movies. And it didn't just happen once. This happened twice. Yes, they're both bipolar, so that's why I learned, bipolar people. Not my forte. Okay. Manipulative people. I had a lot of those, including my exes. And I've even had exes threaten me for leaving them or stalk me when I left them. Multiple examples of hurt people hurting people. But let me explain how easy this is these days. It's called a block party. You grab your phone. You hit the block button on your phone. And then you put your phone down and you never unblock them again. I've known people who would block their ex or their partner. They would block their partner because they got in a fight and they would break up. And then a day would go by and they would unblock them. And then they would get back together a week later. And I mean, this shit went on for like multiple years. People do that stuff all the time. People are like, he was a toxic effer. I blocked him. And then a month later, I'm like, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to whatever. And I'm like, wait, wasn't he on the block party? They're like, yeah. I'm like, you don't unblock the people on the block. Once you make it to my block list, you're done. Done like the rising sun. You're done. Hello, people. I personally love the block party. I love the block party. All those scammer calls, block. The block button is one of the most powerful boundaries technology gave us. When someone crosses a line, block, remove, and move forward. You create space for healthier people. Amen. Hallelujah. I personally have a gift of seeing the bullshit in people. And I call them out on it. But why? Because people have called my bullshit out. And I used to give a lot of bullshit back in the day. And they would call me out. And I feel like I have this immaculate gift. Not immaculate, but I really do. I feel like I have a gift. And I see right through people. I see right through their lies. And I see right to the situation. I don't know if it's one of my gifts I've adapted, or my awareness is so high that I just see the whole picture, or because I've gone through so many scenarios myself and around me that I see through the bullshit. And I'm like, oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. Plus, it's easier to see other people's bullshit than your own bullshit, right? People can look at me and be like, Marcy, you got a ton of bullshit. And it's like, okay, let me clear it up. Tell me what I got. Let's clear it up. Because that's how you grow, people. Growth requires honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. The final lesson. If someone repeatedly hears the same advice and refuses to change, they are not ready. Your responsibility is not saving them. Your responsibility is protecting your peace. The affirmation I want to end on is I release the pain that no longer belongs to me. I take responsibility for my healing. I choose awareness over reaction. And I allow my past to become wisdom instead of weight. Hurt people hurt people. And healed people can change the world. And if this episode has resonated with you, if you're realizing that unhealed pain might be running parts of your life, this is exactly the work I help people navigate inside my coaching containers. Inside my programs, we work on breaking generational patterns, emotional regulation, nervous system healing, trauma awareness, conscious decision making, and rebuilding self-trust. So you can apply for my 6-month Soul Alignment coaching container, which is only open for another week, or you can simply DM me for more information. All the applications are linked in my bios. And remember, you don't have to keep repeating the same cycles. With much love, have a beautiful day.